folks, it's Kikoskia here with something a little bit different, but first things first, thank you to Sonja for making the picture that you see as the background of this video. Sonja, if you don't know, is an artist that is a long-time member of my Discord, link to which is in the description, and a moderator on my Twitch channel, link to which is also in the description. Sonja is responsible for quite a few of the emotes on my Discord, as well as most of the emotes on my Twitch, and the offline picture that's there on my Twitch page when I'm not streaming. If you want to see more of Sonja's awesome art, and why wouldn't you, it is absolutely awesome, as you can see here, I'm going to put a link to Sonja's Twitter in the description. There are going to be a lot of links in the description in this video. You'll see why in a little bit. Sonja's art is awesome, and you should go and see just how awesome it is for yourself, and then tell her how awesome it is, and then she'll deny how awesome it is. Sonja's art is awesome, and you should go and see it for yourself, and then tell her how awesome you think it is. Now, to the topic at hand. As you can see from the picture, on Thursday I had my 12-year Let's Playing anniversary. Yes, I've been putting up videos of Let's Plays for 12 years now, and have a lot of things changed since then. I'm still amazed that I'm actually doing this 12 years later. I didn't think I'd be doing this 1 year later. I had no idea what to expect when I started doing videos of the games that I loved from my childhood all those years ago. I could not have dreamed that people would watch my stuff, like my stuff, want more of it, and I couldn't have imagined now that I'd have a community built up around what I do, and that I'd be streaming on Twitch, and that people would have so many nostalgic memories for all the videos that I've done in the past, and memories of the games that I'm doing now in the present. It's just so surprising and humbling that so many people get enjoyment out of something that I just enjoy doing. Me recording myself, playing video games while talking, and uploading it to the internet. I know I describe it a lot like that, but that literally is what it is, and yet it's also not what it is. Because the topic of this video is my recording process. A lot of people ask me what exactly my recording process is, and then there are people who look at what I do and say, that looks really easy. In counter to that I say, it's enjoyable, but it is not easy. And some people are dubious of my answer. And so, I'm going to go through the entire process of picking a game to Let's Play all the way up to uploading that video and sorting through the various comments, just to show you how much of a process it is. But before I go to how I do things now, I want to talk about how I used to do things way back in the past. When I first started out, just over 12 years ago, I used to upload videos through a very poor broadband connection. It wasn't very fast. When I uploaded things, it took up the entire of the broadband's capacity, and nobody else could do anything. Additionally, my computer wasn't geared towards recording. It also wasn't grounded properly, so every video that I recorded had a staticky hum in the background. Additionally, my computer didn't have much hard drive capacity free. It also wasn't very good at compressing videos. So, my average 10-minute video, because the limit back then was 10 minutes and 59 seconds if memory served, took about 20 minutes to compress, and was 80 megabytes or so in size. They weren't very big in terms of resolution. They were compressed at least once, sometimes they were compressed twice, and the audio was also compressed. When people go back to my previous videos, sometimes without realizing how old they are, and declare that they have terrible audio and video quality, that is why, because I had to do a lot to make sure that they would upload in a timely fashion. And I only recorded about 6 or 7 videos usually, so my average recording session would only be about an hour and 10, an hour and 20 minutes, an hour and 30 minutes if things were going really bad for the entire week. I would record everything for all the games I was doing for that week in one go. I would then compress all the videos without checking them. I would just go, this all seems okay, compress, and then I would upload them, one at a time. And it would take about 20 minutes for each one, as I said, and I put them in a playlist, and I put the minimum amount of effort into putting a video description and making the playlist. Then it would just be waiting for it all to go live and checking the comments later. I had no ability to have things scheduled back then. I had to set them as private and then manually put them as public. And back then, I was doing this while also having a full-time job, so I was juggling that as well as recording. A lot has changed since that time. For starters, I do more videos than I used to. I now do 10 videos a week as opposed to 7 or sometimes 8 that I would do back then. Not including Let's Quickly Plays, which I tended to record in one huge chunk and then upload in one huge chunk. The videos are also longer as well now. More often than not, they're 20 minutes long, sometimes ranging to 25 minutes, and every now and again a video will run over for one reason or another, and I can have 30-minute videos. So I have more videos, and they're longer. They're also bigger as well, because they're a much bigger resolution, and the compression method is a lot different. But I'm getting ahead of myself. With all of that, put in your brain far, far away at the back, let us look at the very beginning. So I want to do a Let's Play. A Let's Play is recently finished, or is about to finish, and I'm thinking, I want to do something else, because of course I want to do something else. I want to make sure that I always have content going up. One video every day, at the minimum. Some days have 3. So I'm thinking, what shall I do? And the first thing I need to consider is, what games am I currently doing? Because I like to have a variety in what I do. I don't like to have 2 games of the same genre going at the same time. The only caveat for that is, if I have a game, say, in the replay slot that is about to end, I will think about starting a game in the normal Let's Play slot of the same genre, knowing the replay is going to finish soon. But that's besides the point. Take now, for instance. I'm currently doing Portal 2, which is a puzzle platformer, a 3D one. That's an important distinction. I'm doing Minecraft, which is a sandbox survival game. And I'm doing Evoland, or was doing Evoland as the case may be. And that is an RPG. So I look at that and go, I don't want to do any of those genres right away, because variety is the spice of life, not just for people viewing, but also for me. One of the ways that I make sure that I don't burn out is by having loads of different things one after another. It's the reason why I tend not to dive straight into sequels, with a few rare exceptions. Rise of the Wool Ball and Shadow of the Wool Ball were one of those exceptions, because they were short enough that I could do one, and then do the other, and then be on to something else. With that in mind, I tend to brainstorm, by myself, or with a few trusted people, one of which I'll be talking a fair bit about shortly, what kind of genres I could play. There'll be suggestions thrown my way, as there always are, by both my friends and by people in the comments, and I do take these into account, but all of them are trumped by the second consideration when I'm deciding a Let's Play, which is what I feel like doing. And what I feel like doing can change from week to week. I need to have that urge to play the game. It could be a game that is perfectly suited for me Let's Playing, but if I don't actually have a desire to play it, it will show when I'm doing my recording. If I'm not wanting to do it, I won't enjoy it as much, and I always want to be enjoying what I'm recording, because I feel that enjoyment carries through into the video itself, and if I'm not enjoying it, I imagine my viewers won't enjoy it either. So not only does it need to be a game from a genre that I'm not currently playing, or haven't played a massive one of recently, it also needs to be something I want to do. But say I do find something that fits both criteria, and this can take anything from half an hour to half a day. It can really take that long. Sometimes it can take multiple days while I'm thinking between multiple options. I'll have one game that I really want to do, as well as a couple that are sort of backups, in case the next step doesn't work out, and that is the testing. Because I need to make sure that A, I can record it, and B, that I can record it well. The first step, recording it, is a lot easier than it used to be, because way back when I started, I used to use Hypercam 2 to capture all of my footage. Later, I got Fraps, which I slowly migrated all my recording to, but of late, I had to switch to a different recording software because of changes with Windows 10 that meant that Fraps really didn't work for most things. And for those who are curious, as a complete aside, and yet not as a complete aside, this is the third computer that I'm using that has been for Let's Playing. Well, the first computer, as I said, wasn't really designed for it. The second computer was more designed for playing modern games, which did help in the recording process, whereas this computer is purely designed for my recording. It is designed for being able to crunch compression really well and record really well, and as a side effect, it can play some really high-end games. I really like this computer, but we're not talking about the computer right now. I'm talking about the process that will eventually tie in to the computer. So, I've picked the game I want to do. Now I need to go into the recording for tests. I use OBS for recording these days. OBS is a very versatile thing. It can pretty much capture anything, and it took a lot of initial setup to get it to the way that I like it. And dependent upon what game it is, I either have some pretty generic settings that will allow me to capture it, especially if it's 1080p in full screen or 720p in full screen. But if the game doesn't fit that criteria, I have to come up with a completely new profile for that game. And I don't do that alone. A lot of the technical stuff for my videos is done with help. I know quite a lot about computers, but when it comes to the nitty-gritty of sound and video stuff, I rely on other people that know a lot more. Specifically, over the last few years, Cav2K. Cav2K is a good friend of mine and a moderator on my Twitch and Discord, and knows a lot about this stuff, and we have spent many an hour and many a day sorting out all kinds of things. Most of these Let's Plays are made possible by Cav's assistance. While I could muddle my way through without his assistance, the videos would be far worse for it. So, we're both there, and we're both looking at OBS, presuming that we have a profile that is working, so we don't need to spend hours tinkering with various options there. We're then going to do some test recordings. We're going to do them for two reasons. We're going to try and make sure that the video quality is fine, and then we're going to try and make sure that the sound is fine. Now, the videos are encoded with UT Video, which is a lossless video codec, and the raw footage and the proper videos themselves are saved onto a dedicated SSD to cope with a sizable stream of data. Because my is there a lot of data, and my are the raw videos quite large. The raw videos are not ultimately kept. Once the video is uploaded, the raw videos are deleted. They are moved from the SSD onto a large conventional hard drive after the videos have been edited and compressed, but again, getting a bit ahead of myself. The first test video is a general benchmark. I don't change any options aside from the really obvious ones that I need to change, and I try my best to balance the sound. One thing to note about my setup is that I use VirtualDub for the editing and final compression. It is a quite old editing software, but it's dependable and it has very good pixel-perfect scaling capabilities, something that's not always easy to find in other software. One notable thing about it, though, is that it lacks the ability to deal with multiple audio streams, which means I don't have the ability to alter a separate part of the audio once the video is recorded. My voice and the game are all one audio stream. So sound balancing is important. Sound balancing is very important. And it's something I need assistance with because my hearing isn't all it could be. My hearing is actually not that great, especially in my right ear. So I need somebody else to listen to the test videos to make sure that the sound is all okay. I actually typically record the games at half general volume, so Windows volume is at 50. This allows me to hear myself talking while I'm playing the game. It's very important that I can hear myself, because if I can't hear myself, I tend to stumble over my words a bit, and that would make recording exceptionally difficult, if not impossible. So we have the first video as the video and sound benchmark. I upload that privately, we take a look at it, and we decide what we need to do from there. Any video adjustments are then made, and we start tinkering with the sound volume. Sometimes, very rarely, I can get the sound volume pretty much spot on. Other times, it takes a fair few more guesses. Portal 2 took 2 test videos for volume. The game that is upcoming pretty soon took 5, and the volume went up in total by 300% for the game before we got to a point that we were happy with. Ultimately, it is a balancing act. I can't get everything perfect. Such is the nature of being human, and such is the way that some games are just sound balanced. Some games have really good sound balance, some games have really awful sound balance, and you do with that what you can. This testing process can take a very long time. It can take anything from a few hours, it can take days if we're having some serious problems. And some games will have serious problems, but let's say it only takes a couple of hours, 2-3 hours. So about 2 or 3 hours to pick the game I want to do, 2 or 3 hours to get the test recordings done, and we're all a go for actually getting it recorded. Now, I typically record in a morning and on the weekdays, so every single day, apart from Friday, has recording in it. This video is being recorded on a Friday as opposed to a Thursday. There are reasons for that, but 4 out of 5 days a week dedicated to recording. The 5th day, dedicated to a stream in the evening, stream as well on a Wednesday. 3 days have 3 videos, 1 day has 1 video, and the recording process can take anything between an hour, if I'm doing really well, to 3 to 4 hours. It all depends on how the recording goes on the day. A few things to say about my recording process. First and foremost, I do the commentary live at the same time as me playing the game. There are lots of people who claim that I script things and that I know exactly what's coming. While I may know what's coming in a game that I've already played, my reaction to it is live. And it's also unscripted. I do not have a script for what I'm going to be saying, in part because I don't want to spend lots of time writing scripts. I prefer to have natural dialogue as I'm going through a game, and also because, since I'm not doing my commentary in post, I'm doing it live, a script is sort of impossible. So, it's live and it's unscripted, and that can make it really tricky. Sometimes I'll stumble in the introduction of a video. Sometimes I'll stumble partway through a video. Sometimes things will go wrong with the recording. Sometimes there'll be an interruption. There can be all manner of things that make a video that I'm trying to do not work and then force me to start again. This didn't used to be the case back in the day 12 years ago. I would just start recording, I would just go for the 10 minutes and come what may, I would leave it at that and I would have a video. But times change and the videos have gotten longer and there are more of them, and it takes a lot of concentration to do recording, especially if you're doing it live and unscripted. It doesn't take very much to throw me off my concentration, and if my concentration has been thrown, it's very difficult to get it back, and that's usually what will derail any recording attempt. There are certain games where that, however, is not an option. Games like when I'm playing a hardcore Minecraft playthrough, or something that has auto-saving. Those games I have only one chance at what I'm doing, and when I have only one chance, I've just got to roll with it, and those games are even harder to record because I have in the back of my head that there is no way for me to restart if something goes terribly wrong. If I lose that footage, that's it. I can't go back and get it. And that is always plaguing the back of my thoughts whenever I'm doing it. It takes a lot of concentration to record and have the commentary that I do, and it takes even more concentration as an aside to do Twitch streams, because you're doing both of those things and you're also keeping track of chat. You are multitasking on 3 things at once as opposed to just 2, but just multitasking on those 2 things is very tricky. People will watch my videos and say, you missed this obvious thing, or how could you not have noticed this? The answer is quite simply, I'm concentrating a lot on keeping my commentary going and also playing, and it's very tricky to juggle the two. When I look back on videos, typically once I'm editing them, I will notice the things that people comment on later in the videos. And I say later because I do not record a video and then upload it the next day. I record a video in 1 week to be uploaded next week. This means that there is a buffer of videos for me so that I have time to plan around certain things happening, like just in case I'm ill, or if I have to go somewhere, or if something goes wrong with the recording process on my computer, I have that buffer. It does mean, however, that sometimes advice is given to me too late, but that is a side effect of the way I record. The way I record ensures that I can get things done and keep content coming, and I'm very happy with how it works. It does have its downsides, but it has more good sides than downsides. So, eventually, I have the 3 recorded videos, the raw footage, and now begins the editing. I do the editing on exactly the same day that I do the recording. I don't leave it there to sit I just get right on to editing. And editing takes a lot longer than the recording does. It takes at least twice as long to edit, if not more. It all depends on how long the videos are and how much there is for me to go through. But what is the editing process for me? But I sit here at my computer with no other distractions happening, no music or anything like that. I have to focus intently as I go through the entire video, listening for any audio problems and watching for any video problems that I need to deal with. And by deal with, I usually mean try and cut them out with as little interruption to the flow of the video as possible. When my microphone pops, I need to deal with that. Anything that is picked up by my microphone that shouldn't be, I have to deal with that. And any weird sound things from the game that I can easily get rid of. I do get comments of people noticing the more obvious ones, but for every obvious thing that people notice, there are 24, 3 things that people don't notice because they are so seamlessly removed. Video issues are a much rarer thing, but when they do happen, I do have to deal with them as well. Quite often they occur in such a way that I notice in the video, and I can mention it right there, but very rarely they don't, and I have to deal with them in the editing, and usually that involves the same thing. This process takes a very long time, with each thing I need to edit out making it take even longer. Sometimes I'm very lucky and there's very little for me to do. Sometimes I have to pause a video every 20-25 seconds and sort something out. And it's those times which can make it take a very, very long time. And once I've finally gone through the editing process and selected any resizing of the video, which doesn't really need to be done so much now that I've switched to OBS, I can do it in OBS, eliminating one level of complexity from my editing. So once I've done that and I've selected the compression method, which is tailored towards the video, I then compress the video. With my previous computer, this would have taken a lot longer, because my computer didn't necessarily have the raw grunt to do all of the compression, and when it did, I couldn't really do anything else with the video. It was just, hey, we're doing everything we can to get this video compressed, but you really can't do much else. You can't even really load up web pages. This computer is much better at that. It can compress faster than the other one could, and I can do other things while I'm doing so. But my do the fans whir up a little bit when that happens, because there's a lot of processing going into compressing the videos, and this happens for each of the videos, all 3 of them. When I go on a holiday and I have to record for multiple weeks in advance, I have to edit 6 videos in a day, or sometimes even more videos in a day. But on a good day, on a really, really good day, the recording, the editing, and the compressing can take about 4 to 5 hours for 3 videos. On a bad day, it can take 7, 8, even 9 hours. So you've got 2 or 3, 4, 5 hours for picking a game. You've got 2, 3, 4, 5 hours for going through all the testing. You then have 4 or 5 hours for recording just 3 videos for it, 1 week's worth of footage for that game, and that's edited and compressed. That's in the 4 or 5 hours. Then uploading. I upload the video. That typically takes, if it's an average size video, 15 to 20 minutes. And while I'm doing that, before I've done it actually, I've made some tags for the video, I've written a lengthy description, I've also sorted out the description for the playlist and set it up so that the videos that I'm uploading will automatically be added to the playlist once they have been released from scheduling. So I upload these videos, and it takes about 20 minutes or so. I do the ad placement for it, try my best to make sure that the ads are in the right place, and this process will take about 30 or so minutes. And even once the video is uploaded, I'm still not done. If anything crops up from the video being uploaded, like anything involving Content ID or anything like that, I have to sort it there and then. And I'm always keeping my eye on any videos I've already uploaded, and I also need to go through the comments. And all of this is done at pretty much any point during the day at random. The advantage of having my computer where it is and what I do is that I don't need to do a lot of travelling to get it done. I literally get up, get ready for the day, move over to the computer, do the videos. The downside is that it's always on my mind because it's always here. I associate the computer with Let's Playing, and with that comes all of the stuff that needs to be dealt with, whether I'm making content or whether I'm doing something else. I always have to check the comments because no one else is going to do that for me. I always have to think about the playlists and typos and descriptions and everything because no one else is going to do that for me. And I always need to do recording because no one else is going to do it for me. I have recorded videos on days where I've had practically no time to do anything else because I have been recording. I've sacrificed all the free time that I have to do that. I've recorded when I have been very, very ill because I had to record. It just needed to be done. And so those videos did not take 20 minutes each or 30 minutes each. No. Each one of those 20-minute videos took an hour and a half to record in multiple segments because I was just that unwell, and then the editing process took even longer because of that, but I had to make the content, so I had to do it. Now I have to emphasize that this wasn't a bad process. I wasn't thinking, oh, I have to do this, I hate doing this. I was still enjoying making the content, but it was difficult. It was difficult because of the time constraints, because of being ill. All of these things weigh on your mind as you're recording and make it trickier, but I was always enjoying it. There are a few games that I've played in the past that I ultimately did not enjoy playing. That's the reason why I don't return back to them. Daikatana on the PC is a good example. You're not going to see me returning back to that because ultimately I did not enjoy playing it. And Let's Playing for me is about enjoying what I do, and why am I doing it? Why am I playing a game if I don't like it? I don't want to just end a video being frustrated and hating the game. You'd be able to tell that I'm not enjoying myself, and you wouldn't enjoy the video either. Some people would say, well, there's a cathartic kind of enjoyment from watching people suffer. Well, I don't enjoy suffering while I'm playing games and recording them, so you're not really going to be seeing that. You may be disappointed about that, but ultimately Let's Playing for me is about enjoyment, and if I'm not having fun, why am I playing that game? And so, you have been shown a glimpse of the entire process, and how long it can be, and how complicated it can be, and how I rely on so many other people to help me out. It's not a soloed thing, even though the recording itself is done just by me. I have lots of other people helping me out, making sure that everything works. And slowly over the years, my recording process has evolved and improved. Some things have stubbornly remained the same. I have been using VirtuaDub in one form or another since the very beginning, but I don't use the same recording software. I do more videos, I do longer videos, I do Twitch streams as well. I try to make sure that the sound is perfectly balanced, or as perfectly balanced as can be, try to make sure that games look as nice as can be, and ultimately, I do my best to keep having fun, but also make it look and sound as brilliant as possible. I want you to have a feast on the eyes and the ears that unfortunately is marred by me talking, but hey, we can't all have what we want, can we? Hopefully this has helped you glean a bit of how things work, but I hope it hasn't discouraged you from doing Let's Plays yourself if you want to, because for all the difficulty, it is so rewarding and so much fun. Seeing how much people enjoy the content that you've made always puts a smile on my face, and it also humbles me so much hearing how much people like what I do. After all, I just record myself talking while playing video games and upload that to the internet. But at least now you know how that process works, how long it is, how time-consuming it is, how difficult it is, and how much effort I put in to making the content that you hopefully enjoy. And so, when we come back, folks, another video most likely on writing and me. I just felt with the 12-year anniversary that I would go into some detail as to how I do my recording, and all the little things that make what my channel is. And so, I'll catch you next time, folks, and I'll see you then. Later. And just think, I now need to go and edit and compress this video, doing all the stuff that I mentioned earlier in the video to get this video to you. Let's Playing is a funny thing, isn't it? Video creation is a funny thing, but at least now you know a little bit more about it. Later.